That's what's going on. How y'all doing? I just got off, had to get her. I'm fixing to go home, but I wanted to come on real quick and talk to y'all about something real quick while I had a few minutes. We're gonna check and make sure there was no more cats over here in this area before we head home, and get the fire chat going. But I wanted to discuss a little bit of the Idaho 4 real quick. I don't have long because I'm ready to get home, but I did want to talk about it for a second because I'm starting to put together what his attorney's doing. And I think now that we know so much more about, that they were watching him at his parents' home, watching him do the trash, all the red flags that were adding up to, he did something really bad, right? Wearing the gloves, hiding the trash, cleaning the car with bleach. Like, who does that? Nobody cleans their car with bleach. I mean, come on. But I still think there's something in that car. There's no way he did that, and there's not something. And it's sealed, I'm sure. It's not going to come out yet. But I think in trial, there's going to be a lot that's going to come out. Is there another cat, Ruby? Please don't tell me yes. I think somebody may have dumped him out. I don't know. I don't see any more. We're looking, but I don't see any. But, there's so much now, that we know that, when they came in that home, man, oh man, they went through the sliding glass door in the basement, right? Broke it out, went in that way, kicked the front door down, and went in that way, guns drawn, right? Trigger warning. Put everybody at gunpoint till he was arrested. And he's standing there giving statements, right? Before he even had a chance to read his rights. But, I mean, all in all, when you're arrested for what they're arresting you for, it's a warrant, doesn't matter, I don't think. But anyway, that would never work. She's not going to win any battles to get anything thrown out. I don't see that happening at all whatsoever. I think there's too much evidence. I think we only know a tenth of what they got. You go back and read some of those early interviews, like I've been doing on Sebastian Rogers and some of these other cases. I've been trying to read the early interviews. And when things were first coming out, like how they were, putting it in there. And you go find that one that talks about whenever they, went into the house, how they had been watching him and looking at watching him put the trash in the neighbor's trash and he didn't know it. And wonder how many days did they do this, right? Did they do this the whole time, the whole week? He was pulled over twice on the way there. So I think they had already knew something's up, right? I think they were trailing him way before that. I think they were trying to see what he was going to do. They saw him cleaning out his apartment. They probably watched all that, in my opinion. And, all the phone stuff's what's going to get him. And now that we know that car had that GPS, Pandora something, GPS in that particular model. So they were able to not only track his car, but his cell phone. So, he's not going to be able to use anything like, oh, somebody stole my phone. No, it didn't, because you were talking to your family. You were seen at Albertsons with your phone. Like, that's not going to work. But I think what it all boils down to right now is that most likely he's going to take a plea, which I think everybody knows that. The fire squad, all this stuff, trigger warning is being brought up. All he's worried about right now, and I think all his attorney's worried about right now, is just saving his life. Right? Like, just saving him as a person. Whether, I think she knows what the evidence is, and I think she knows it's overwhelming, and that's why she's been doing what she's doing. To hope maybe they'll bite on something that she's trying, right? She's trying to throw everything out that puts him there. And I understand that's what defenses do, but, they're not going to throw this. You don't think they didn't have all their ducks in a row? I think they did this 100% correctly. Down to watching the house, like they were like doing stakeout. They were doing it, right? They were freaking doing it. Shout out to them. They were freaking doing it, especially if they had anything to do with him being pulled over twice. And now it's coming back to wonder. Remember in August when he was pulled over in Moscow over by the school for not knowing about the red light crosswalk, whatever, say he don't have that at home, and he didn't know he couldn't go after the turn. Remember, and the lady that went him off with a warning? That shows you right there that I wonder if they went back and matched that date with his phone data from that date and put him watching that house. Is that the one time out of the 12 that he watched it during the day? That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if they're going to have him on so much, right? I mean, we know that he was close enough at times to that house for it to pick up his cell phone Wi-Fi. That tells me he was right there, like in a window looking in, right? That close. That's what that tells me. Especially in the 3-story. And this Moose Murphy was upstairs. So yeah, he'd have had to have been really close, really, really close. Like either right at the back porch or somewhere right there, peeping, watching. And I know, it said 11 times were at night, 1 was during the day. So was that the particular day? Was that maybe the first day he did it? And that was a sign, like he got pulled over, like, hey, don't do what you're doing, right? I believe sometimes God sends us signs, like, to think about things before we do it. I'm wondering, was that his sign? Was that the day that first day he decided to go after this individual, and he got caught, pulled over for running a red light? Like, I'm wondering. And all the surveys that he was asking everybody on Reddit to answer all these crazy questions about how do you feel after this, what planned up, how do you pick the target, like all this stuff that's horrible. He was asking all those questions. And I understand a lot of people are going to defend him. And I'm not saying I wouldn't defend him. If all the evidence wasn't pointing to him, then yeah, I would say it's 50-50. But when everything they got is pointing to him, and even his own family's going to testify, well, I think the older sister, and I think the dad are going to testify. But see, the older sister, the reason I say so is because she's the one that reported to the dad that he took her phone that time when he stole her phone. And then the dad being the one that called 911 on him. I think that's why they're going to be asked to testify, subpoenaed to testify in this. And then I'm wondering, is that other case going to be brought up during this case? The one that he was supposedly being looked at in the beginning as a suspect, and then they changed it. I did a case on it, and it's with Dana, I think her name, Dana, something like that. But Smitters. And then I think there's another couple that he may have done something to. I'm going back and checking anything in that time frame, because remember they said he was real bad on substance abuse and all that, but he had gone to rehab. He had got in trouble because he took the sister's phone and all that. But I believe that's why they're going to testify. I really do, guys. But I'm going to get out of here pretty quick. But I knew I wasn't going to stay long. But these are some of the things I want to touch base on in the next one. Is go through and break this down from the start. Go over what was said in the beginning and then what we have now, and see how much more they've actually leaked out, which is not a lot, really. But, we have enough to know that in that one statement that the policeman, the investigator was writing down in that article I was reading, was that they knew with the Apple and the Amazon accounts, like, the evidence in the car, which I'm wondering how much DNA evidence, I wonder, is going to be found within that car. Because like I was saying before, we know they took the gas pedal, the steering wheel, I think the blinker switch, the seat belt, the emergency brake pedal, the brake pedal, and the gas pedal, I think, something like that. They took like 6 pieces out of that car. And I'm wondering, were those 6 tested positive for DNA or something? And then one of the articles was weird about how they wrote that, how he left the sleuth behind on the bed, the sleuth, and how it had his DNA, because he couldn't say it was planted because then it would have somebody else's DNA on it, right? I mean, I do see it that way, but some people might not, but I do. And they knew exactly that it matched the weapon used, and so they knew exactly what kind of knife was used in this crime in the very beginning. From probably a couple of days on. And that's why, maybe them finding that, they knew right away too. I don't know. Maybe they put 2 and 2 together. Maybe they actually were able to tell by measurements and things. I don't know for sure, but, and we know he bought 2 of them. And then we know he had a little caliber handgun, right? Bang, bang with him. Trigger warning. So we know he had a backup plan. I've always thought he had a headlamp on, and that's why they couldn't see him. He just turned it on, boom, with a push of a button. Like I do mine at night when I'm out searching. I turn it on sometimes. It's really bright. Like, can you imagine if you were looking into that? You wouldn't be able to see anything. So I think he wore a headlamp. I think he had a lot of stuff mapped out right, but he wasn't expecting to fight back for the amount of people that he was going to have to do, I think. I think he went there for one person. I don't think he went there for four. I think it's just they stumbled upon him in the hall because they were coming upstairs from the noise. That's what I think it was. I think they were coming up there to see what the heck was going on. Like, why are you screaming? Like, I'm coming up to check on you. Why is the dog barking, right? That's what I think. And I think that was how the tussle ended up. I think he probably told Xana, hurry up, go back to your room, whenever they met him, maybe in the hallway or something. And then I think maybe the reason he was able to do what he did to Ethan is because Ethan might have been going down the stairs when it started. And then that may be explaining why there wasn't more of a tussle, because, you know, Ethan was way bigger than him. So I think it would have been no problem he would have been able to take him, no problem, I think. I think maybe whatever happened to Ethan might have happened at the stairs. Or he was coming back down the stairs and they told Xana in front of him to hurry and go or something. There's no telling what all happened and transpired. We don't know, right? I mean, we know Ethan's a big boy and it would have probably taken quite a bit to put him down. So I think that there was more of a tussle between there. I think that Xana is probably going to have his DNA on her fingers. I really think that happened, or at least some trickles of his blood, because we know he probably cut himself. So, and they did say that in one article that they felt like the criminal had cut themselves. So what is that telling you? That maybe he had left droplets there at that crime scene. And then another thing that I read was about the footprints that they discovered, because of Dylan's statement and told him was able to tell exactly what door he went out, that they were able to find the foot trail. So they know exactly where he came in. I didn't even know they had an actual foot trail that they followed. So that could be one thing. You know how they could have brought scent dogs out to smell that trail, right? And then once they figured out it was him, let that dog smell that DNA to that trail and see if it would have matched. I mean, I don't know if you can go back that far, but it's possible. There's no telling what all they did. I know they did a good job. But I guess we'll soon find out, right? So y'all guys, get ready for a trial. It's coming before we know it. It'll be here. And then, hey, remember, Suzanne Simpson's husband's trial starts this month. So we got to get ready for that too. I got to find out more about it. And I'll get y'all posted on that. But because I do want to follow the trial in this out of San Antonio. It's only an hour and a half from me, so I do want to follow it. But we'll keep y'all posted on everything. But we'll talk more about the Idaho 4 on another night. I just kind of wanted to break some of this down while we were out here, but I'm ready to go home. It's getting dark on me. I had to go light the fire. All right, guys, y'all be good, be safe. We love y'all, guys. Remember, allegedly, these are my opinions. Just my big alleged bubble. Take it as a grain of salt. Don't take it as facts. It's just my theories, my speculations of what I think happened allegedly. Trigger warning times 100 million. Justice for the Idaho 4, for sure, 100%. And if all this is proven to him and everything is sealed and we're only seeing a certain portion, imagine what they have. I bet mountains on him. And I'm telling you, the attorney is only after to save his life. All she wants right now is to get that DP thrown out. She knows he's probably not getting out. She's not dumb. She's seen everything. She's not dumb. That's why she's trying to get the most important stuff thrown out, so then she could throw everything out like dominoes, and it ain't going to happen with this judge. She should have never changed the venue, because she had her way over at the other place, right? She did. She was getting her way. Anyway, guys, y'all be good, be safe. We love y'all, guys. We'll talk on the next one. Come on, Rube, let's go home. All right, bye.